What if I told you that more than 120,000 people in the United States are currently on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant, and that the number goes up daily? How scary is it that hundreds of thousands of people are suffering from diseases that cause them to need new organs? One of my dad's best friends waited 2 years for a lung transplant, and it saved his life once he got one. From witnessing this experience, I now understand and have the knowledge of why organ donation is so important. American Transplant Foundation states that one deceased donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation and can save and enhance more than 100 lives through the life-saving and healing gift of tissue donation. I will explain in this speech why organ donation is important, how easy it is to register to be an organ donor, and why you should register today. Let me begin by explaining the importance of organ donation. Organ transplants are needed every day. The American Transplant Foundation stated that another name is added to the National Transplant Waiting List every 10 minutes. Like I just said, transplants are needed every day for people on the waiting list for organs. There are people waiting for kidney, lung, heart, liver, pancreas, and small intestine transplants. There are also people on the waiting list for transplantable tissues, which include blood, blood vessels, bones, bone marrow, cartilage, connective tissues, eyes, heart valves, and skin. According to the Organ Procurement and Transplant Network, as of today, there are 119,792 people that need a life-saving organ transplant, and of that number, over 77,000 are on the active waiting list. The problem is not that these people with the diseases. The problem is that there are not enough people around the world willing to donate organs to these people that are suffering. The American Transplant Foundation said that on average, 22 people die every day from the lack of available organs for the transplant. And on this poster, you can see that I showed statistics that every year it goes up. You can see the number, and that this is a waiting list by ethnicity, and that Caucasians are 43.7%, and it just goes around from there. The friend that I mentioned in the beginning of the speech endured a hard road of waiting and hoping. Scott Albright was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when he was a young kid. At this point in his life, it wasn't as bad, but once he got married and had 2 kids, it got worse. He went through many doctor's appointments in confusion because he did not know why his body was failing him. At this point, it was do or die, so he got on the transplant list. He waited 2 long, hard years for someone to match with him. During the 2 years he was on oxygen, could barely walk, and did little to no physical activity, including walking. Since the lung transplant, he has lived a happier life. He has functioning lungs so he can enjoy life with his 2 sons and his wife. He is also able to walk around and function on his own without the help of people. And I provide pictures. This is him now with his wife, and that's him with his 2 kids, and you can see that he's obviously very happy after getting that transplant. So now that you know how important it is to donate organs, let me go over some of the concerns people have about becoming a donor. Some people think that if they're an organ donor, doctors won't do everything they can to save their life, and they will spend less time so that they can get their organs. This is not true because doctors take an oath called the Hippocratic Oath, saying that they will do everything they can to save a life. They also must take the family into account and listen to their wishes. Some people believe that money persuades organ distribution. And that is not true because there are laws that enforce the forbiddance of bribery. And this is true to the National Organ Transplant Act. Another reason is some people believe that the religion conflicts with organ donation. This is not true because the Organ and Tissue Donation and Transplantation states that all major religious groups and practices of organ and tissue donation. So it doesn't matter. It would be an opinion, not based off religion. Another reason is that transplantation is consistent with the life-preserving tradition of these faiths. Another reason is some people believe that organ donation disfigures the body and that a funeral service will be delayed, which this is not true because the Organ and Tissue Donation and Transplantation states that the recovery of organs and tissues is conducted in the operating room under direction of qualified surgeons. Organ donation neither disfigures the body nor changes the way it looks in a casket. Organs are removed from the donor with as little cutting as possible. And so evidence to back up that, the organ and tissue donation and transplant states that entire process usually takes a matter of hours. The procedures can be completed and the body will be released to the funeral home the next day. So that does not cause, it doesn't cause a delay in any funeral services. And the identity of the donor families is kept confidential by the hospital and the organ procurement agency. No one will know unless someone tells him or her. Another reason is some people think that the donor has to pay for the organ transplant, therefore they do not want to be one because they don't want to pay for someone else's surgery. This is not true. Hospital expenses incurred before the donation of organs and the intent to save the donor's life, and the funeral expenses remain the responsibility of the donor's family. So now that we have the concerns have been addressed, now let's explain how easy it is to register to become a donor. Registering to become an organ donor is very simple and easy process. I put one on here and for the Tennessee license, and then a couple reasons or a couple ways to do it. And so the first way you can do is if you physically go to the DMV when you're turning 16 or like when you renew your license, and you can check a box that says you want to be an organ donor or you don't want to be an organ donor. But there's also easier ways if you have connection to the internet. You can go to Donate Life website and sign up there without going to the DMV. Or you can do an organ donation card, which is this, and it's, I wish to donate my organs and I wish to give only the organs and tissues or like any of them. Or you can go on the DMV website and this is what that is, and you just put your zip code in. Or organdonor.gov has a way to really sign up easily. You just select your state and then you can register super easy. And to tell if you're an organ donor on a Tennessee license, you'll have a little red heart right there on your license, and I pointed to that. And then on the back it says you're an organ donor, and you just check the box and it'll show that you're an organ donor. So again, organ donation provides life to many people. I've explained why organ donation is important, how easy it is to register to be an organ donor, and why you should register today. Now, after seeing all these alarming statistics, I encourage you to weigh out your pros and cons for becoming an organ donor. I became one at 16 when I got my license, but it's not too late for you to become one. There are many people out in the world that are suffering and could use an organ of some kind. You could be a lifesaver. Just remember that you never know what you have until it's gone.